Mitchell, this week we've got a rarity assortment of games here.
That didn't even. What wasn't even a complete proper sentence.
Yeah, that didn't make sense. Okay, let's rate some rare games. So we get to start off with Blast Core. Blast Core is, I think it's a fun game. Honestly, it's one of my favorite N64 rare titles. Um, what do you think about Blast Core?
I've never played Blast Corps.
You never played it, really?
No,
Huh.
I haven't played like half these games.
I like Rare, or excuse me, I like Blast Core a lot. It's fun just to destroy things. Destroying things that's kind of relaxing. Even though Blast Core is a pretty stressful game, so I would put that in great. It's going to be near the top of great overall. I can tell.
Mm. So we got the original Battletoads.
Battletoads, that's a tricky game. I did play through it all using save states.
Yeah,
And overall, it just wasn't. I don't know.
wasn't the
Didn't
greatest.
Yeah, it didn't really hold up very well.
Different.
Yeah, I mean it's still okay, but it's not. I wouldn't go back to it.
Yeah. Then the
This,
Double Dragon crossover.
yeah, I've never played that one.
We actually don't have a category for haven't played.
Okay.
So it's indifferent.
And let's see, what is this next one?
This is the Super NES Battletoads.
Oh, I haven't played that one either.
Well,
There we go. Now we have the original Donkey Kong Country. Donkey Kong Country is still fun, still holds up. I like to just run through it, just play a little bit of it every once in a while. It's just one of those games that you want to bust out like every few uh, months and just kind of run through. I would say it's great.
so all three games are great, or do any of them deviate?
I feel like 2 is legendary,
Oh,
and 3 it would almost be there, but I don't know. Like the level design is just not very good.
so it's just in great.
Yeah, it's in great. I don't. The funny thing is I don't know if I would actually say it's better than the original. It had some interesting ideas, but yeah, I don't.
It just kind of got too complicated, and it didn't really.
I guess so. Like the whole world map kind of makes it really bloated. Like
Go into all the bears.
yeah, there's like side quests and a million different collectibles, and yeah, yeah.
Speaking of collectibles,
A billion different collectibles is that's what's in Donkey Kong 64. Um, you know, despite everything we just said, Donkey Kong 64 is a great game. It's fantastic.
it's a game about collectibles as opposed to being a side scroller platformer that they added collectibles to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not as strong as Banjo Kazooie or Banjo Tooie even, but it's still a great game. I would think I would put it at the top of great or at the end of legendary.
Well, now we got Banjo Kazooie.
Well, I've given my opinions on Banjo Kazooie in the past. That's legendary.
Boom, right there.
It's an absolutely fantastic game.
And then Tooie.
Banjo Tooie is, I would still say legendary. Yeah. I think it would go. It's better than Donkey Kong Country 2, I guess. I don't know. I'm just nostalgic for it.
Yeah.
Once again, it kind of has that issue where I guess it's pretty commonplace of Rare's games where they just went overboard.
They got a little too ambitious.
Yeah. The original Banjo Kazooie is just so simplistic and fun. Banjo Tooie, it's not something that you can really go back to and just enjoy.
Mm-hmm. It's not compact
Right.
like the first one is.
Now we have
Grunty's
Grunty's
Revenge.
Revenge. Man, it's been a long time since I played this one.
I just remember getting it and then being really disappointed.
Yeah, it's weird because they tried to make a handheld Banjo Kazooie game. Isn't that just weird to think about? They made a handheld Banjo Kazooie game.
I mean, did they?
um, I would put it either in just okay or indifferent. If there was other stuff in okay, it would be like at the very end of okay.
Yeah. It's a Banjo Pilot.
I would like to. Going back to Granny's Revenge, I would like to replay it sometime just to see how it's held up over the years.
Probably not that well. So Banjo Pilot.
Banjo Pilot. I feel like you're more familiar with Banjo Pilot than I am.
I played through the whole thing. I think I finished all like the time trial stuff. It's hard.
Is that the only racing game where you've ever done that?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't play like a ton of racing games.
So I mean, it sounds like you enjoyed it.
I mean, it was alright. It wasn't like the greatest game. I think I mostly just played it because it was a Banjo Kazooie game. I mean, it's like I don't really care to replay it. I'm gonna put it in okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'd definitely rather play it than like these games, and I'd definitely
yeah.
rather play these games than it. So
Yeah. So Nuts and Bolts. Now we're in the opinion that Nuts and Bolts is a pretty good game.
Yeah.
Doesn't need to have banjo in it.
Yeah, it's a good game that has Banjo Kazooie in it, so everybody just assumed it was something else, and then they're like, "Hey, this isn't Banjo Kazooie like I know it," and then they just hate the game because of that.
Yeah. It's a pretty good game. So with all that in mind, where would that go?
I would almost want to put it at like the top of great. Maybe even the end of legendary. I
wouldn't put in legendary.
I really enjoy the game.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was really fun to build vehicles and stuff. Though I feel like there were some ways that I think they could have really improved the game.
Yeah, that was the cool thing about the game, was that basically everyone had a different way of completing the objectives, or because you can just build your own vehicles.
So we have Conker's Pocket Tales.
I've never played that one.
Put it down there.
I have played Conker's Bad Fur Day, though. It's it's definitely aged, but for the time, they did a good job making a very cinematic game for the N64.
Yeah, it feels like a series of short movies.
Yeah. Like the gameplay really isn't the focus of Bad Fur Day. So I would put it at the end of great, maybe.
Yeah, it definitely feels very much. If Banjo Kazooie is about tight gameplay, and then like Conquer is about characters and about dialogue and like storytelling.
Yeah. And I would say Live and Reloaded. I can't really speak for the multiplayer. I know some people enjoy the multiplayer more in the N64 game, and the multiplayer is much different here with Live and Reloaded. I would actually say it's better than N64 game, just because it looks better. It controls better.
It just handles better.
Yeah.
Just an updated version.
Yes.
So I have Grab by the Ghoulies. I like Grab by the Ghoulies. I think it's pretty fun. I enjoy the combat in it because of how simple it is, but you can like get creative, and the challenge mode is a lot of fun trying to work around. I mean, just even from room to room, dealing with unique challenges.
Yeah, there's a lot more depth than what it appears to be at first.
Yeah. So I mean, I really like Grab by the Ghoulies. Where do you think it goes in this?
I think I would put it like at the end of great, or
I'd put it maybe a little higher.
Like after Donkey Kong Country, maybe?
Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
I like Grab by the Ghoulies. It's fun. Nobody's played it.
Diddy Kong Racing, a fantastic N64 racer.
I think it's on the N64 because the game has a total of 64 frames when you play it.
Spread across an entire race.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's definitely doesn't perform well when playing it on an actual system, but it's still a fun game.
Yeah.
I would put it in great. Kind of maybe after Donkey Kong Country as well.
I'll put it right there.
Okay.
Then we got the original Viva Pinata. I think the original Viva Pinata is better than the second one.
Okay. What's that?
I feel like the first one is kind of like, okay, here's what's going on. Here's the pinata and stuff, and like just kind of try some stuff out. Whereas the second one, I think
it really throws you in there.
It relies too heavily on you actually playing the first one.
It does, yeah.
And I feel like because of that, it makes it not as good. At least coming back to it.
Yeah, it's not as accessible overall.
Yeah.
It feels like it's Viva Pinata for the people who mastered...
It feels like DLC.
For the people who mastered the original Viva Pinata.
Yeah, it just kind of feels like DLC for the first one.
Right.
So, because of that, I think it goes lower on the tier list. But then where does the first one go?
I've never really been a big fan of the Viva Pinata games. I just could never get into them. Like, I would just put them in okay, like at the top of okay.
I think that's fair. I like the art and the music and the theming more than I think I probably like the actual game.
Mm-hmm.
I have to admit.
Sea of Thieves.
So Sea of Thieves is fun.
Yeah.
It's another one of their too ambitious to fully pin down games. It's fun to play every once in a while. Get some people on.
Yeah.
I
think I would put that like in great, but I wouldn't put it above the original Donkey Kong Country or anything, you know?
If I were being as super critical of it, I think I would put it at the top of okay.
Oh, really?
But I enjoy it, and I think it's just fun to mess around in. So I'm okay with putting it at like the end of grade or something.
Well, I mean, it's definitely better than like Conquer.
Yeah. I would agree. I just think it's incredibly flawed, but it's a lot of fun still.
Hey Mitchell, it's Mr. Pants.
There he is. What's the opinion on Mr. Pants?
I never played it.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Mr. Pants.
RC Pro Am. It's a fun racing game, especially for the NES.
Mm-hmm.
I just put it at the end of okay.
Yeah.
I don't really have much to say about it.
Yeah, and then we got Marble Madness. Too.
Did Rare make that?
I don't even think that Rare made that. So, I don't know why it's on this list.
Just, I've always been indifferent for Marble Madness anyway. So.
It goes here. I've played Marble Madness, so
right.
I'll put it right there.
Right.
007. So, I never really played it when it was like big.
When it released, yeah.
The first time I played it when I was in like high school, so like the mid 20 or early 20 teens was the first time I played the game. Huh. And it was like going into it for the first time, like, wow, this is badly dated. And so while it's super like I think it's a really important game, I don't really have any kind of personal attachment to it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather play like Perfect Dark or something.
Honestly, I even think that the Banjo-Tooie shooting is even better than Perfect Dark. It's just kind of boiled down to like its essence and simplified in a way that makes it fun but simple.
Right.
So for GoldenEye, I mean, I think I'd put it at like the top of okay, or somewhere in okay. Especially if you're going back to it nowadays.
Sure.
It's not really worth revisiting. Just put it in like the middle. People are gonna scream when they see that.
Cameo.
So you've played Cameo,
I have,
right?
and it wasn't very memorable, I guess, overall, because I don't remember it much.
Oh.
I remember. I remember it was kind of like structured like a Zelda game, almost. Like it had dungeons and stuff.
I don't even know what the gameplay is like, to be honest.
Yeah, it has like dungeons, and you like can transform into different creatures. And they all have power ups. Like I don't remember it very much. I think it was pretty short. I don't know. I just thought it was kind of eh. I'd put it at the top of indifferent, maybe.
Okay. I've always meant to play it at some point, but
Yeah, it's a few years ago whenever I played it, it kind of felt dated, and I'm sure it would be even more so now.
yeah. Okay, Jet Force Jiminy. I mean, we just put this one in bad, right?
How do you play this game?
Let's say if Diddy Kong Racing had 64 frames, then this game has 4 frames. I just remember the frame rate being really bad and just not knowing what to do and just being confused, both visually and sort of gameplay wise.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. On the Xbox One, they tried to modernize the controls and everything, and it still doesn't feel playable. Like, are you supposed to like run through the level and make sure you don't kill the ants? Is there stuff to collect in the level? I just never was sure of what was going on in the game.
Yeah, it's just kind of a mess. So the original Perfect Dark.
You know, it's funny. We played through Perfect Dark co-op, and I remember I didn't really like it very much. I didn't really have much fun. But it was whenever I went back through it, I played it a second time by myself. I kind of like appreciated it more. I don't know what it was. Mm-hmm. Something clicked with me, I guess. Finally, so I'd put that like in the top of okay, like the very top. Yeah.
All right.
I would like to play the multiplayer at some point, but it seems pretty complex. Like a lot of people, like everybody has to know the fundamentals of Perfect Dark before they can play the multiplayer.
It sounds like a pain.
Yeah.
We don't got Perfect Dark 0.
I think you can put that in bad. It was just a generic shooter. It turned into a generic first-person shooter.
Well, all right. I think that's everything. We just got some duplicates down here on the bottom.
Yep.
But there's all the rare titles that were in this list, at least. There's a few of them that are missing, but...
Yeah, there's a ton of handheld games that weren't on here.
There's not the Viva Pinata Pocket Paradise for me to put in bad.
Yeah, a ton of their... Like, where's Jetpack?
The classic.
Anyway,
or the actual Diddy Kong Racing DS, which is actually really good.
Oh, that's true. Well, that's rare.
Yep. See you in the next one.